It's Friday, April 10th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Some maritime students are helping NASA as the Artemis mission returns to Earth. An anti-crime group presents Moncton police and politicians with signatures and demands.
Well, the weekend kicks off with some April showers, but is followed by the return to sunnier weather Sunday.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen and his colleagues in the NASA Artemis II space capsule are returning back to Earth now after completing a historic 10-day mission around the moon. They're expected to splash down around 9 o'clock our time tonight. We begin our coverage with ABC's Jacqueline Lee in San Diego.
All eyes focused off the coast of San Diego tonight, where a U.S. Navy ship is standing by to welcome home the Artemis II crew. The Orion space capsule set to splash down into the ocean just a short time from now. The 4 astronauts are completing their 10-day mission to the moon and back.
We were asked, what are we looking forward to? And I said splashdown, and it's kind of humorous, but it's literal as well, that we have to get back.
Re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere is one of the most dangerous parts of the journey.
I'm going to tell you, it's 13 minutes of things that have to go right. It's more, in my head, about an hour and a half of things that have to go right.
Orion entering the Earth's atmosphere at 24,000 miles per hour, nearly 400,000 feet above the ocean. The heat shield on the spaceship is responsible for withstanding temperatures up to 5,000 degrees. And during the most intense heat, a communications blackout. The crew losing contact with mission control. Parachutes deploying to help the spacecraft splash down off the coast of Southern California. Helicopters hoisting them out of the water and on board the USS John P. Murtha. This mission historic and a big step towards future trips to the moon and beyond. Many people anxious to learn more from the observations the crew made during the lunar flyby.
You know, one of the most exciting things for me was the fact that they actually saw meteorites hitting the surface of the moon. They saw at least 6 of them between mission control and the astronauts on board. You need to understand where the resources are, and you need to understand what problems you're going to encounter.
Once medical evaluations are complete, the astronauts will be flown back to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, where they'll be reunited with their loved ones. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, San Diego.
Closer to home, much closer, a team of engineering students from UNB Fredericton has been tracking Artemis II. As CTV's Nick Moore explains, it hasn't only been for the fun of it, but for the benefit of NASA.
A satellite dish on top of Head Hall at Fredericton's University of New Brunswick has been gathering out-of-this-world information about Artemis II and delivering it to NASA.
They selected us in January among 34 other organizations all around the world.
UNB being the only academic institution represented from Canada. UNB engineering students were tapped to take part and accepted the challenge, which started with the satellite dish itself. The team was assigned to track Integrity's radio signals during its voyage to and from the moon.
NASA had asked for a much larger satellite dish than what we had, so we needed to make sure we could squeeze out as much of the signal as possible from our current setup.
Nobody knew for sure it would work here, and there were at least a few early signs that it would not.
No success on Thursday or Friday, some technical difficulties, some last-minute code changes, software updates, and then an internet outage.
But then early last Saturday morning, Megan McDonald spotted something.
And I wasn't sure if that was it or not. I turned to Dr. Peterson, I said, "Is that it?"
It was indeed Artemis II, and it was the first of several spottings over the last week.
The excitement and all the talk and all the, okay, let's talk, let's share this, let's share that. Does this data look right? And it was just a lot of fun.
New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt was given a tour of the project earlier today.
Here in small but mighty New Brunswick, we proved that you can have a 6-foot satellite put together and organized by brilliant students, and it can work, and it can pick up the signal of Artemis.
The team at UNB says their work will help in the goal of launching a mini satellite into space.
We're developing the communication system for the province's next satellite, that being Violet 2.
We hope to build Violet 2 in the upcoming years, and so it was simply an opportunity to test our Earth station to see if we could detect signals.
For the team at UNB, it's been a mission accomplished. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
And you can follow this final leg of the Artemis mission tonight on CTV News channel and at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Some traffic is moving again on a highway near Hampton, New Brunswick, following that fuel tanker spill Wednesday. This afternoon, the province said the westbound lane of the highway reopened. It's believed 36,000 liters of fuel spilled after a double-long tanker truck overturned on Highway 1. The area was closed as crews worked to remove the fuel. Inspections are being conducted along nearby waterways and homes. There's still no word on what caused that crash. The divide between Mi'kmaq chiefs and the Nova Scotia government over the right to sell cannabis appears to be deepening. The Assembly of Chiefs wants an end to police raids until both sides can meet. CTV's Jesse Thomas joins us in the newsroom. Jesse, the province, wants to know more about income from Indigenous cannabis sales before they're willing to sit down?
Yeah, Todd, there's been letters going back and forth. You might remember the province announced in December they're going to crack down on what they called the shadow cannabis market, saying it poses a health threat. Well, RCMP have conducted several investigations and search and seizure raids since then, and tensions have been rising. You might remember last Thursday we saw those tensions spill over after RCMP executed a search and seizure at a cannabis storefront in Botlatek First Nation in Cape Breton. You see there some shots of protesters who blocked the Highway 4 there, forcing RCMP members to abandon the scene and leaving their vehicles behind. Now, those vehicles were broken into and some windows smashed. And there was another show of solidarity from another First Nation community near Shubenacadie. They protested and blocked traffic along Highway 102 as well. Anyways, it all prompted the Association of Mi'kmaq Chiefs to call on the government to cease all raids in First Nations communities until they say the two sides can meet. In a statement they wrote, "We demand a moratorium be put on any other raids in our communities until we've had a chance, an opportunity to have a real nation-to-nation conversation with Nova Scotia on the issues at hand." Now, in response, the Justice Minister here said government is open to meeting, but First Nations leadership must disclose any financial interest and benefits involved in the unregulated cannabis trade.
Let's be clear, we have a policy in place that First Nations can actively participate in the sale of cannabis through the Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation, where all of the proceeds will stay in the bands so they can use them for positive social programs. We're always willing to have discussions about that and other policies around this.
And as for that request from the chiefs to halt any raids, the RCMP told CTV News today in a statement they maintain investigative independence and make enforcement decisions based on their investigative work. Meanwhile, the province passed new laws and amendments around the Cannabis Act this week at the Province House. Now, that'll help them expand their enforcement, including the creation of a new offense for landlords who allow cannabis dispensaries to operate in buildings or premises that they own. Now, we haven't heard of any dates for when the two sides could meet up, Todd. Right now, it seems they might be as far apart on this as we've seen.
Yeah, indeed, it certainly does. Thank you, Jesse, joining us in the newsroom this evening. With a petition signed by thousands and something of a manifesto, an anti-crime coalition met with police and politicians to begin tackling the problem of downtown crime in Moncton. CTV's Derek Haggett reports.
Moncton's anti-crime coalition has come up with 4 demands to reduce criminal activity in the city. Around 30 people gathered at this downtown hotel yesterday with one goal in mind: making Moncton safer. Enough is Enough met with organizations responsible for public safety, including federal, provincial, and municipal representatives, the RCMP, and others.
That was probably one of the highlights for me, was that everyone showed up, and it showed up, prepared and interested and wanting to talk about things.
The demands include acknowledge the crisis jointly, transparent public reporting on the downtown Moncton pilot, a formal, multi-stakeholder crime reduction strategy with measurable targets, and a clear path forward on police resourcing. Gillespie says the reception to the proposal was welcoming and cordial.
We're not policemen. We're not, specialists in public safety and in crime reduction and stuff. So those demands were sort of formulated by just trying to see what our objectives at the end of the day were.
On Tuesday, the City of Moncton announced a pilot project that will provide $250,000 annually to local businesses to recover and protect themselves from crime.
So this is modeled on the St. John Community Resilience Program. It's an opportunity for business owners to get support with criminal activity.
Gillespie says it was a nice gesture, but
I would have rather saw an extra police officer hired than that.
Justice Minister Rob McKee and Moncton Deputy Mayor Paulette Theriault were both present at yesterday's meeting, but neither were made available for interviews today. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
There's a live look at Bathurst right now, where it is 7 degrees as we get our first look at the forecast. We bring in Kaylin Mitchell, and okay, camera's moving a bit there. The ice fully in place, but certainly a nice afternoon, Kaylin.
Yeah, although they should be seeing some rain and some showers in the vicinity of Bathurst. Now, we're going to start off by taking a look at some current conditions, just in case anybody's heading out there for the Friday evening and night plans. You know, the other thing that, as I'm taking a look at this temperature map, that really stands out to me is I thought we were done with reaching our high temperatures for the day, but just over the last hour in the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia, Greenwood has come up to around 18 degrees. It was a very pleasant feeling early April day across many parts of the region. Temperatures were cooler for some coastal areas, and of course cooler now in the north of New Brunswick with that wet weather moving in and through. Taking a look at the wind direction, again, anybody heading out, you're headed out into a bit of a blustery south wind. It's being sustained in a lot of cases now between 10 and 25 kilometers per hour, close to 30 around the Bay of Fundy coastline, and still getting some gusts reported between around 30 and 40 kilometers per hour. Winds are going to remain pretty steady out of the south for most of the Maritimes tonight, except becoming north and northwest in the north of New Brunswick, which is going to be getting onto the cooler side of this front first. Speaking of that front, here's a look at it on radar as it begins to bring April rain and showers into the Maritimes. So here's the wet weather that I mentioned across northern areas of New Brunswick. This is mostly a lighter rain, but it should be in the vicinity of communities like Edmundston, Campbellton, Dalhousie, and even around the Bathurst area. And there's also going to be some rain and some showers for our viewers on the Gaspé side of Quebec there. And then down in through central and southern areas of New Brunswick, some showers in the vicinity now of areas like Fredericton as well as Woodstock. Of course, there is more to come with this weather system. The front continuing to move into and across the Maritimes as we head through tonight into tomorrow. There's going to be a showery start to the weekend for parts of the region. We'll talk about what kind of rainfall amounts we can expect from this weather system and the sunshine that's coming up in behind it, Todd, when I'm back a little bit later on.
All right, we'll see you later in the show. Thank you. Families with loved ones in Nova Scotia long-term care homes are making plans in the event of a worker strike. Unless a deal is reached on the weekend, staff at nearly 24 nursing homes across the province will be on the picket line Monday morning. CTV's Vanessa Wright reports.
St. Vincent Nursing Home in Halifax is where John Hutton's grandmother, Leola, has called home for 2 years. But the support she receives could soon be reduced.
Everyone gets old. Everyone wants to make sure that when they get old, they will have the support they need, and when their family members get older and have advanced care needs, that they will have that support.
Long-term care workers at 22 nursing homes in the province have given notice that they will strike on Monday, with more homes expected to follow suit.
People are living paycheck to paycheck. Some people are, forced to live out of their car because they can't afford rent.
The union representing workers says negotiations with government over wages has pushed them into a corner.
We do the job because we care. We're not in it for the money because there is no money to be made.
Hutton says he understands why workers are going on strike after previously working at a nursing home himself.
I saw what was going on in our seniors care system, and that was more than a decade ago, and it changed me for life. You have burnt out, overworked, stressed out nurses, PCWs, LPNs doing the absolute best they can with very limited resources.
The province says they've put forth a strong competitive package for employees in the sector and that it matches deals they've reached with other long-term care workers. The 22 nursing homes are spread throughout the province. If the strike does proceed, more than 2,000 workers will hit the picket lines first thing Monday morning. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Prince Edward Island is announcing the hiring of nurse practitioners on Monday. Never before has so much attention been focused on nurse practitioners. The provinces see them as key elements to curing the care crisis, a big topic of conversation as I gathered in Halifax. CTV's Stephanie Sikos reports.
Whether they're a veteran nurse practitioner or just starting out.
So I'll be graduating on May 12th from the UPEI Nurse Practitioner Program.
The National Nurse Practitioner Conference offers the chance to learn, share, and grow.
Not only is it an opportunity for professional development, continuing competency, but it's an opportunity for nurse practitioners to gather from across the country to share in what's happening in their own jurisdictions, but also to, come together as professionals who understand who we are and the work that we do.
For the first time, the conference is being held in Halifax.
We have approximately, I think, a little over 450 nurse practitioners present coming from Nova Scotia, but then I think we have representation from all the provinces and the territories as well.
It's one of the fastest growing health professions in the country at a time when there is so much strain on the system.
Certainly primary care has been a big focus because we know that there are some 6 million Canadians without a primary care provider. But we also see nurse practitioners really very much integrated into acute care and specialty practice settings.
One of the big topics being discussed this year, AI in healthcare.
We want to know, how do you implement that safely? And so we look at being able to have an AI scribe when you're taking a patient history. What kind of real technology should we be using? What is considered vetted and what is safe? What is costly and not going to be putting an extra burden onto patients and their families?
Offering lessons for the nurse practitioners to take with them.
I think it's super important to, connect with your colleagues and those in your profession and really learn how nurse practitioners are changing healthcare across the country.
The National Nurse Practitioner Conference continues Saturday. Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Halifax.
Canadians in 3 ridings go to the polls Monday to elect their next members of parliament. Join CTV News chief anchor Omar Sachedina for results and analysis on CTV News channel, on the web, and live on Crave. Coverage begins Monday night, 8 o'clock our time. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after this. At a work fair in Cape Breton, there was little mention of AI, certainly no talk of layoffs or downsizing. In fact, it was just the opposite, as industry put on a show to urge more people to get into skilled trades. CTV's Ryan McDonald took a look.
Hundreds of students came to the Nova Scotia Community College Sydney waterfront campus today for a hands-on look at potential careers in skilled trades.
I'd like to run my own business, but currently I work for Lindsay's Construction.
Cordell Robichaud of Porters Lake, Nova Scotia, is already in the workforce as a carpenter. At 23 years old, he is already witnessing the need for more young people like him in his line of work.
In my field anyways, a lot of the people are older, and they're all going to start retiring now, and I hope the young people come back into the work field in order so that knowledge doesn't get lost.
Skilled trades was never something that was offered to me when I was a young person.
Beth Hill is an apprenticeship team lead with Irving Shipbuilding. She says while they don't have a shortage of skilled workers right now, they often are in need of them, and to find them, they typically have to put the word out.
We usually work alongside NSCC and some community partners to try and make sure that people know about the opportunities for skilled trades and know what kind of careers they can have.
I think it's probably well known to everyone that we are going to have a massive shortage, that we're in a shortage now.
Organizers of the Career Showcase here today say that industries are in a time of transition, not only locally, but nationally and worldwide.
Infrastructure is going to need to be replaced because it was probably built in the 70s and the 60s, and so that requires more. We're in a housing shortage, that's well known, so that needs more. We're transitioning to EV cars.
The event that was held here today at the Sydney Waterfront campus wasn't the only one. In fact, it wrapped up 5 weeks worth of competitions and demonstrations like this held at 39 contest locations across the province.
We don't have as much time to figure out what we want to do anymore because it's so needed everywhere.
And while this may have been simply a surface-level introduction to the skilled trades, the hope is to speed up the process of engaging the next generation and eventually hiring some of them. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
International news now. Just hours before talks between the U.S. and Iran are expected to begin, U.S. President Donald Trump posted online that Iran has no cards and is only alive right now to negotiate. a further strain on already fragile ceasefires. The latest now from ABC's Christian Cordero.
In a matter of hours, Vice President J.D. Vance is set to meet with Iranian officials in Islamabad, Pakistan, which is hosting peace talks between the two countries.
If the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive.
Iran says it has proposed a 10-point plan to end the war, insisting it will not agree to a deal that allows the U.S. and Israel to carry out future attacks. Also in contention, whether Israel is violating the ceasefire agreement with its attacks on what they say are Iranian-backed Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, even today, and whether Iran has effectively reopened the Strait of Hormuz, where a fifth of the global oil supply passes through. Yesterday, Iran said all vessels can now travel through the strait, though data shows only 9 ships did.
The rise in energy costs are high. The gas price increase month over month was the largest since the Bureau of Labor Statistics started tracking this in 1967. So it's hard to ignore that.
The price of energy impacts almost everything else. Moody's Analytics says inflation is already costing the typical household an extra $233 more a month compared to last year. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
We'll step aside now. When we come back, rain and showers moving throughout the region tomorrow. Kaylin has the full forecast, and yes, there is sunshine over the next couple of days. I've said it before, this is our best live eye shot, I think. Lockport on the South Shore of Nova Scotia. That's Crescent Beach, and it is 6 degrees and perfectly blue skies. That is a live shot right now.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite beaches in around the Maritime region. Of course, there are many fantastic beaches, though, in the Maritimes.
It could use the warmth of, say, a Parley Beach.
Yeah.
You know?
even when the water temperatures come up, that is going to be one of the spots where it's relatively
slow entry, Kaylin, slow entry.
Yeah, although I've gone in. For sure. Yeah. My son, too. He had a great time.
It'll be a while yet.
It could be a little while yet. I mean, water temperatures right now still sitting between 0 and 3 degrees. So unless you're going for a cold plunge, probably not a lot of people heading into the water.
No, not yet.
Let's take a look at weather conditions across the country quickly here. We got some milder temperatures around the south coast of BC, mid-teens around Vancouver and Victoria, 12 degrees at Edmonton and Calgary, 10 at Saskatoon right now, 7 at Winnipeg, and then making our way off towards the east, it's 3 right now at Sudbury and 7 at Toronto. We've got 6 degrees and rain being reported at Montreal, rain at Quebec City sitting at 4, Fredericton sitting at 12 with showers on the doorstep, 11 at Halifax right now, and 13 at Charlottetown, seeing increasing cloudiness. St. John's right now is sunny with the temperature sitting at 4 degrees. I mentioned showers on the doorstep for around Fredericton, but it's already been some rain and some showers that have moved into place across northern parts of that province. That's along that cold front that's going to continue to come across the Maritimes as we move through tonight into tomorrow. So as we head through tonight, the rain and the showers become more widespread for New Brunswick. And by early Saturday morning, they'll be on the doorstep of western Prince Edward Island, as well as northern and western areas of Nova Scotia. So that would include Cumberland County, and then after that down into Colchester County and around the Minas Basin. The Annapolis Valley, as well as the southwest of Nova Scotia, Digby, Yarmouth, and Shelburne counties. But this band of rain and showers will completely cross PEI in Nova Scotia as we move through the morning hours and into the early afternoon, exiting last out of eastern Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton. In behind it, there will be some isolated showers and flurries. It'll be present even into the evening hours of Saturday, but at that point in time, many communities will be down to around a 30 or 40% chance of a shower or flurry. And then those come to an end as we make our way into Sunday morning as an area of high pressure moves back into place for the Maritimes. Now, rainfall amounts out of this weather system, they don't look particularly high. I would describe it in most cases as a light April rain, and in some cases, maybe a little bit more of a moderate April rain. Moderate in parts of New Brunswick, where there's a chance that there could be some pockets of between 10 and 20 millimeters. Other parts of the Maritimes looking at picking up a few to several millimeters of wet weather out of this system. Winds in the forecast for tonight and tomorrow. They change direction, and that happens as the front goes through. The winds will become north and northwest behind the front, and they're going to be blustery. They're going to have some gusts of 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. And while Sunday is going to be a sunny day, the winds are going to be a little bit gusty on that day as well. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for much of the Maritimes will be in the range of 3 to 7 degrees. Cooler in northern areas of New Brunswick, getting onto that cooler side of the front first. There, by early Saturday morning, some temperatures falling between 0 and 2. And then high temperatures for northern New Brunswick for tomorrow. Highs between 3 and 4 degrees. 3 and 7 degrees. That, of course, is cooler than it was today. Called a cold front for a reason. Temperatures for central and southern areas of New Brunswick tomorrow between 5 and 9. For Prince Edward Island, the high temperatures on Saturday, 5 to 7 degrees. In Cape Breton tomorrow, your high temperatures mostly between 7 and 10. And between 7 and 11 degrees for eastern parts of mainland Nova Scotia, including the North Shore and the Eastern Shore. 7 for Amherst for tomorrow, 9 for Truro, 10 for Enfield and Halifax, as well as Chester and Lunenburg. The Annapolis Valley with high temperatures, 7 and 9 degrees, including 9 at Kentville and Middleton. And on the south shore of Nova Scotia, high temperatures between 8 and 11. Taking a look at the extended forecast, there's the sunshine on Sunday. And then rain moves back into place for New Brunswick on Monday. That is followed by a chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Showers expected on Thursday. But at the end of next week, sunnier conditions are looking likely. Taking a look at Nova Scotia in the forecast, Sunday is a sunny and blustery day. It's rain in the forecast for Monday, followed by a chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Wednesday a bit cooler. Temperatures a little milder on Thursday with showers in the forecast and sunshine for Friday. And for Prince Edward Island, the forecast sunny and blustery on Sunday. It's rain in the forecast for Monday, followed by a chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Showers in the forecast for Thursday, and then sunshine for Friday. Todd.
Very good. Thank you, Kalen. We'll see you at the end of the show. Next, we're going to talk about new releases in maritime theaters with our film critic, Richard Krause. Stay with us.
Okay, so happy weekend. Coming up Monday morning, a big announcement with Virgin Radio.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites. It could be money, it could be a trip, you never know.
Plus, we're giving away a $100 gas card.
If you need an escape this weekend, we have a rundown of the new cinematic releases, and we are joined by who else? CTV film critic Richard Krause. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I haven't seen you for a while. How'd you make up with your Oscar picks?
I did pretty well. My brother actually did the math. I got 87%, I think, right? So.
Yeah, that's good. That's a pass in my books. Okay, let's look at what's happening this weekend. We'll begin with what's a black comedy of sorts, Outcome. Here's a look.
Bobby, Tyra, we got a big problem.
There's a video.
What's on it?
I have no idea.
I need to know everyone who hates you. You need to go and apologize to them. And without them realizing it, feel out if they're the ones behind the video.
Who hates me?
So this is what, Jonah Hill behind the camera and pretty much all his buddies in front.
Guys.
Yeah, and he also co-wrote it as well. Keanu Reeves stars as a movie star who we just saw gets those 3 words you never want to hear. There's a video. It's compromising, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. So they decide that they're going to go and meet with all these people who quote unquote hate him to try and figure out who it is that could be trying to blackmail him. And so what starts off is kind of like a satire of Hollywood, a la Seth Rogen's The Studio, turns into something else. It turns into a movie that's really quite introspective. It's quite quiet. It's got points to make about celebrity culture, about the TMZ-ification of celebrity culture and accountability and authenticity. But it is a weird movie because it feels like it's going to be a satire, like a fairly broad satire, but most of it isn't. Most of it feels like a therapy session, but it's intercut with these scenes of Jonah Hill, who's working at, let's just say, a very heightened way here. So his scenes are kind of outrageous, which throws the tone of the thing off a little bit, but it's 83 minutes. If you stick with it for the 83 minutes on Apple TV tonight, you'll find by the end it's a pretty thoughtful film.
Okay, Apple TV. All right. The next, Little Romance in Wine Country, You, Me, Tuscany. Sounds good.
Rich white boy. He's Italian.
Salute.
So some random rich spicy white boy.
I'm not there.
And you think that that's a sign to fly to Italy tonight?
This features one of the hottest names around right now, right? Regé Jean Page. Did I say that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Bridgerton?
from
That's a Bridgerton guy? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry, but Halle Bailey, who was the Little Mermaid, and she was in The Color Purple. Here she plays a woman who lives in New York, kind of cut adrift. She doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. She gets fired from her house-sitting job, so she has nowhere to live. And she meets a rich Italian guy, and they sort of hit it off, and he tells her all about this villa that he has in Tuscany. And when they go their separate ways, she says, you know what? He's never at the villa. I should just go there, and I'll live in Tuscany in the villa for a little while. She gets there. Of course, it's empty. But then soon enough, people start dropping by, and she tries to convince them that she is his fiance, even though she only knew him for one day back in the States. And this is just an old-fashioned rom-com. That's all it wants to be. It's not like the drama last week that takes a rom-com and subverts it and turns it into something else. This just wants to make you laugh. It wants to present a romance. It wants to just be exactly what it is. If you love rom-coms, you'll probably like this. If you don't, stay home and watch the outcome.
Okay, very good. Maybe hoping to capitalize on the success of Hamnet comes a new take on Hamlet. Here we go.
My good Hamlet, we grieved your sickly father while he lived.
Let the world take note. You are the most immediate to our throne.
Okay, a very different take.
Yeah, this is a modernization of Hamlet, although it, by and large, uses Shakespeare's dialogue, complete with all the inverted syntax and the archaic language, but it tells essentially the same story. Hamlet, in this case, is the heir to a construction company fortune. His father has died. He arrives home and finds out that his uncle killed his father and then married the father's widow. And so he goes on a quest for revenge. But the thing that's interesting about this movie is not only its setting, which is vibrant, and Riz Ahmed, who we know from the Star Wars movies and all sorts of other things, also very good in this. But like really good adaptations of Shakespeare, you don't really have to understand the language. It helps if you do, obviously. But a lot of people tell me about Shakespeare, oh, I don't quite get often what they're saying. These actors are so good that just the emotion alone will keep you on track with the story, much like Denzel Washington did in Macbeth 4 or 5 years ago. So it's called Hamlet, in theaters now, and I give it 3.5 stars out of 5.
There's a reason we keep coming back to the Bard, Richard.
Yeah.
Right? The last one we're going to look at, good old-fashioned monster movie.
Yeah.
Here's the Yeti.
We're officially declaring them missing.
He's putting together a rescue team.
Splashdown, Dr. Radio Demolition.
And he wants you to lead his search.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody lit a paper plate on fire and threw it at the camera. It has that kind of B-movies, 50s feel to it.
Yeah, the man in a furry suit, in a furry monster suit kind of feel to it. And that's obviously what it's going for here. And by and large, it's successful. I mean, it's a little cheesy. You'll find yourself looking for the zipper on the Yeti costume a little bit, because it does look like a man in a rubber suit. But it is filled with B-movie exuberance. It knows what it is, and it knows what it wants to be. So it's called The Yeti. It's on VOD now. I give it 2.5 stars out of 5.
Okay, so these may not be the greatest movies, but they all seem to know what lane they're traveling in, and they stay within it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, Hamlet is really good. And You and Me in Tuscany, listen, I got so sick of reviewing rom-coms when there was one in the theaters every single week, 5 or 10 years ago. But this one I found kind of refreshing. I haven't seen just a straight-ahead rom-com in a long time.
Yeah, good. All right, Richard, happy viewing. We'll see you next time. Thanks as always.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll take a time out. We'll be right back. In our health and medical segment, we look at why plant-rich diets may bolster brain health. CTV's Amanda Debison has more in tonight's edition of The Lifeline.
It's
never too late to change your diet for better brain health. That's according to a new study published this week in the journal Neurology. Researchers found people who shifted to a high-quality, plant-rich diet had a lower risk of Alzheimer's and other dementias, even when they made those changes in their late 50s and 60s. Over a decade, participants who cut back on unhealthy foods saw about an 11% drop in dementia risk. But not all plant-based diets are equal. Diets high in refined grains, added sugars, and ultra-processed foods were linked to a higher risk of cognitive decline. Experts say the key is focusing on nutrient-rich whole foods like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and nuts to help protect brain function as we age. New research suggests vitamin D levels in midlife could play a crucial role in longer-term brain health and preventing dementia. An Irish team looked at the vitamin D levels of nearly 800 adults with an average age of 39 years old. Then they looked at information gathered from brain scans of those same patients 16 years later. Those with lower levels of vitamin D at the outset showed more protein deposits associated with preclinical dementia. As research continues on that front, Health Canada says vitamin D plays many roles in maintaining health, including building and maintaining strong bones and teeth. The nutrient can be produced when your body is exposed to sunlight, but the agency has long recommended ensuring getting some daily via diet or supplement. Finally, a new study suggests there may be a surprising health benefit to getting married. A new study suggests marriage may be linked to a lower risk of cancer. That's according to a study published in Cancer Research Communications. It found the risk for women who have never been married is a staggering 83% higher, and for unmarried men, 68% higher. The authors argue those who get hitched are more likely to avoid potentially risky behaviors like drinking and smoking, and are more likely to seek preventative health care. Women who have never given birth are also at a higher risk of ovarian cancers. The study's lead author believes the health benefits of marriage accumulate over time. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Devison for the Lifeline.
It was on this day 109 years ago, 3,600 Canadians lay dead on Vimy Ridge after a deadly but ultimately successful mission to drive Germans from a key position in France. There are renewed efforts now to remind the younger generation of the extent of that sacrifice. We get more from Angela McKenzie of CTV Montreal.
A quiet, peaceful moment in NDG as several people gather to lay wreaths. They're here to remember the battle at Vimy Ridge 109 years ago.
The total losses during that time were the largest losses on any conflict in our history. So let's remember that.
For 4 days, Canadian soldiers made their way up the ridge through gunfire, sleet, and muddy conditions. But their stunning victory came at a cost. More than 3,500 Canadians died. 7,000 were wounded. A bloody day, Vimy Foundation Chair Chris Shannon wants everyone to remember.
We are becoming, as people stare into their phones and focus on the moment, a society without memory. And I think the study of history is very important for people.
Today, the foundation teaches that history through its educational programs at the Vimy Memorial in France. Chloe Guan went 2 years ago and says more young people should take part.
I think we should kind of base our understanding of the future on things that happened previously.
Veterans Affairs Minister Jill McKnight is taking time at this ceremony to reflect.
Remembering the service and sacrifice of Canadians that serve Canada is incredibly important, to be acknowledging that both during Remembrance Day and Veterans Week, but throughout the year.
And while the battle happened long before anyone here was even born, for some, it still hits close to home.
I also think about my grandfather, Wilfred J. Fagan, who was a gunner. He was at Vimy. He survived. He was also Ypres and was gassed, and I do it in his honor.
A reminder that war can have lasting effects for generations. Angela McKenzie, CTV News.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. 60 seconds, 10 questions. If you can pull that off, you're going to win $1,000.
Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for the $1,000 Minute.
Ahead of our business report, critics of New Brunswick's recent budget expected this. Moody's, the influential ratings firm, has issued a warning about the state of the province's finances. The credit agency changed its outlook from stable to negative, lowering its baseline credit assessment from AA2 to AA3. Moody's is concerned with the province's ability to generate growth to combat a $1.3 billion deficit. All right, looking at the markets, the Dow Jones closed the trading week down 270 points. Canada's unemployment rate remains at 6.7% after the economy created jobs last month. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
14,000 jobs were created, the first positive number so far this year. The gains weren't enough to offset the loss of about 109,000 jobs since the start of the year. There was a small gain in manufacturing in March, but U.S. tariffs have been stripping that sector over the last year, with 44,000 total jobs lost. Jobs were gained in personal and repair services and in natural resources. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.28. West Texas Intermediate is down to 96.57. Western Canadian Select is up over $1 to 72.63. And the TSX gained 218 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Kayla Mitchell with one more look at the forecast and a beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, that's right. That's our viewer picture for tonight. So, of course, we know here in the Maritimes we had some very fair weather to close out this week as an area of high pressure moved in, including on Thursday, which made for pretty good conditions for setting or dumping day for the lobster fishery, the Eastern Shore lobster fishery. And that's what this picture is showing. Beautiful sunrise here from Joey Mailman coming in from Liscombe, Nova Scotia, when the boats were headed out. Liscombe for tomorrow is going to be cloudier. There's going to be some showers moving through, and the winds are going to be picking up to become gustier than the last couple of days. They'll be out of the northwest, some gusts between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour. Day planner for tomorrow around the Maritime region. To start off the day, morning temperatures will be mostly around the low to mid single digits. There's a band of some rain and some showers. It'll be moving from New Brunswick and into both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. So that wet weather will be moving across those two provinces through the day on Saturday. And even in behind it, there will be some isolated showers or flurries, including for the province of New Brunswick. In fact, the highest chance of a couple of flurries for tomorrow will be in the north of New Brunswick. Wind direction, as I mentioned, will be changing. Initially, mostly out of the south in the morning, but then becoming north and northwest throughout the day with some gusts of 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Let's find out what's coming up on Your Morning Atlantic.
Monday on Your Morning Atlantic, we're going shopping.
We love a good find, and we're visiting Halifax's Esme and Evie, where they specialize in vintage and pre-loved clothing.
Start your morning with us Monday on Your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
Finally for us this week, celebrating 100 years of Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh's centennial birthday is being celebrated by Disney with a free exhibit in London, England. The interactive pop-up launched today. Visitors can step inside the world of one of literature's most enduring characters. The first Pooh story was told by A.A. Milne. The exhibit delves into why the characters still resonate with today's generation. Winnie the Pooh, The Lost Balloon, is open for 3 days in London before moving on to Poland and France. Of course, it all began with the unofficial mascot of the Winnipeg Regiment in the First World War, a bear named Winnie. That is our look at the day here at home. CTVNewsAtlantic.ca is where we have our weekend reporting. We leave you tonight on the coast in Hubbard's, Nova Scotia, with the names of everyone who brings you your newscast. I'm Todd Battis. Hope to see you Monday. Good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.